Hey guys, so this particular segment is about African spirituality, the rising of the bones, and again, all speaking from just thought processes that I move through, downloads that I have working alongside my sister, and everything that I just wish to share with regards to this particular moment in the timeline in terms of where we are in our ascension. And particularly linking to Africa. Africa is a landmass, and I guess I'm even more specifically speaking to South Africans because that's where I'm from and that's where I live. So that is my anchoring. And I guess those of you that are South African know that many African people move through a process of what's called twasa, okay? And it's moving into apprenticeship and initiation for a period of time in order to initiate into either becoming an Inyanga or a Sangoma, all right? And it's such a fascinating part of our culture that I'm not sure how many people are aware of the power in what I'm speaking about. Again, if we link this to any other religion that we have processed or philosophy that we've moved through and gained information from, it is the exact same thing as moving through a shamanic initiation, okay? And you can imagine that in South Africa, we have a huge population of people of color who are living in less than conditions, all right? What these conditions create, though, from the positive side of the polarity is that they are still living in community, that there is absolute humility and gratitude towards the simple things like water, toilets, sanitation, etc., etc., etc. We are working one-on-one, hand in hand with the elements in terms of knowing that we need to go and get water. We need to make a fire to cook or keep warm or things like that. We are on the earth, you know, in our homes. We are in community, merging with each other's fields so much that we have to gain mastery of our own energy fields while living in such a populated space. And I guess what I'm pointing to here is an absolute powerhouse of people who are still linked to their traditional shamanic or medicine ways or whatever you want to call it. In essence, it's their heritage, it's your bloodline, right? Very, very much still connected to that. And this year, through the awakening and through time, you know, people are moving through Twasa with Sangomas left, right, and center, from me looking from my perspective this year and moving further deeper into the space and the understanding of it because of whom I work with. And it's just absolutely insane or beautifully insane, right at perfect timing, that this has been going on for ages, but this year, people are activating left, right, and center, and what we would traditionally call Kundalini, this is happening through what they would call the illness. And through what I've read and, like I said, experienced, learned from people crossing that cultural barrier, you know, it's the same thing. Movement and heat up the spine, intense waves of energy, hyper intuition, sensitivity, possible depression, moving into what we call the illness, which all of us go through at some point in time because, you know, we move like this. But the point is, you know, this is a heritage and a structure that has been in place for thousands of years. And we've shunned that, okay? We've shunned that as white South Africans, white Africans living on the continent of Africa, European blood, not maybe even knowing our bloodline, etc., etc. These are African people, and now through this timeline bifurcation at the end of the year, with all that's been happening with this pandemic, can you imagine the force field that is the African people rising to take ownership of land and resources. And when we link this into galactic history, we understand that all of Earth, as an imprisoned planet for so long now, has been about resources, organic and energetic. So you have this mass amount of people, all with their own electromagnetic fields activating with each other through this year and timeline, and for many other years, but this year in particular, and connecting truly with the bloodline. It's such a beautiful time in history and a pivotal time for us to honor each other in our differences, understanding that it is exactly the same, and not to fear these other initiation practices. We need to start working together and fusing the literature or the knowing, the downloads with each other and supporting each other. You know, separation is an illusion. So it's understanding each part of the labeling of a certain initiation in one culture or structure and fusing it with the understanding from your structure, and then recognizing it as two simultaneous processes mirroring the same frequency. I guess what I'm saying is it's time for the people to rise, and it's such an important time globally, but I live in Africa, so I will speak of Africa. We are a powerful people, a passionate people. And I feel that through these awakenings and activations, it would be so pertinent to begin understanding and extrapolating, you know, the consciousness levels of African people beyond the microcosm of merely South Africa, and spreading it out and looking at the dark agenda and how much manipulation has been there, and the same is mirrored in America, how much manipulation has been there and how racism has been used as a tactic. And yes, we can go but on this timeline. I'm asking you to again consider Earth's history okay, and this dark agenda for eons of time. When we extrapolate that far in our consciousness field, we can understand that we have been puppets. And now it's time to unify. United we stand. That's it. The sentence ends there. United we stand. And so I guess this video is an honoring of me choosing to live as a soul in South Africa and Africa. It is a beckoning and an enticement of activation in its full glory. It's full power. It's full love for the betterment of our reality, our existence, our beingness, our human beingness here on Earth. All of us in our beautiful, fully activated DNA templates as Earth beings at this point in the timeline. And we continue through these activations to begin recognizing each other as souls and vibratory fields and pockets of vast knowledge and information. I mean, what a way to live in the future if we start recognizing that, and each practice, each initiation practice, no matter where you are in the world, should be anchored in the cosmic laws, the universal laws. And once we begin having recognition of that across all cultures, not wanting to unify, but celebrating the difference, understanding that it is all anchored in to universal laws and unity consciousness. This is the 5D grid we are building, this new Earth template, where we honor each other, each for the initiation of this time on Earth, reconnecting with our bloodline in the Earth, the central core, then up to the galactics. But first, we are here, have recognition of that pride in your bloodline, acceptance of others. I take my hat off to all Twasas out there, all Gogos, Gobelas, Tokoza, Tokoza. What a beautiful process. Thank you. May we step out of the patriarchy of these processes as well. May we step out of any false light narrative that we begin to see in those initiation periods, and understand that this is the platform for raising the consciousness into its purest form through the processes. Do not be afraid to question the construct. Use it as a platform, anchor it in, and then abide by the universal laws, always anchoring into the heart and love. All the other dogma begins to disappear, that false light narrative. Purity in your heart is what is your access point to all portals, time and space. So yes, I say thank you to Africa. It's time to rise. It's time to work together as light workers, shadow workers, medicine men, medicine women, grid workers, gobelas, gogos, twasas, black, white, Indian colored, purple, gray, dragons, unicorns, all of it. It's all love, man. It's all love. I mean, what can I say? Yo, I send so much love to all of you, no matter where you are in your initiation process right now. Thank you for doing the work under whatever labels and constructs. Thank you for looking at the self. Thank you.